The Chris Klug Foundation is dedicated to promoting life-saving donation and improving the quality of life for donors, donor families, organ transplant candidates, and recipients. Through our programs, we reach tens of thousands of young people each year, equipping them with the facts of organ donation so they can make an educated decision when faced with the question, do you want to be an organ donor? Snowboarder Chris Klug started this foundation when he was going through his life-saving transplant. In this video, you'll meet Chris and a few other recipients and donor families who will tell you their stories and experiences. We will also provide you with some facts and answer some questions that you may have.
Hi, I'm Chris Klug, liver transplant recipient and bronze medalist snowboarder. I received a life-saving liver transplant. I'm here today because of the heroic and selfless decision of another family. I want to share with you my organ donation story so that you have the tools to make an educated decision and know the appropriate steps to designate that decision. In 1998, I was a part of the first ever U.S. Winter Games snowboard team in Japan, where I finished in 6th place. After coming so close to winning a medal, I was determined to return in 4 years to Salt Lake City to get the job done and fulfill my snowboarding dreams. Few people knew that in 1998, I was actually on a transplant waiting list. I was diagnosed in the early 90s with a rare autoimmune liver disease called PSC, the same disease that led to the death of football great Walter Payton. I was on a transplant waiting list for 6 years and 3 months at a critical stage in the spring and summer of 2000. It's a scary place to be. Each day I hoped and prayed for a second chance, not knowing what lay ahead. On July 28, 2000, thanks to the heroic decision of another family, my wait was over. After a 6-hour surgery, I had a second chance at life. I was out of the hospital in 4 days and back on my snowboard 7 weeks later. A year and a half after my liver transplant, I had the opportunity to represent my country and my sport again at the 2002 Salt Lake City Winter Games, where I won a bronze medal. Seeing the American flag being raised overhead and a bronze medal placed around my neck was a highlight of my life. The day after winning my medal, I met my donor family for the first time. I got to thank them in person for giving me a second chance at life and sharing the victory together. My donor and his family are my heroes. I am forever humbled by the decision to donate. I think this is the real miracle of organ and tissue donation.
All of us here at the Chris Klug Foundation would like to equip you with some facts on organ donation so that you can make an educated decision. Every 10 minutes, a name is added to the transplant list. On average, 22 people die each day from the lack of available organs for transplant. Over 120,000 people are currently registered on the transplant waiting list. Each organ donor is treated with the utmost respect and dignity. Factors like severity of illness, time spent waiting, blood type, and match potential determine a patient's place on the waiting list. Buying and selling of organs is illegal in the United States. Patients are not given priority according to their wealth or status. We believe in keeping the process of organ donation simple and uncomplicated. We want donors to trust doctors and be comfortable while making such a huge decision. Get in touch with our foundation to know more. People of all ages and medical history should consider themselves potential donors. Your medical condition at the time of death will determine what organs and tissue can be donated. There are 8 organs and tissues for transplant: heart, lung, kidney, liver, intestines, pancreas, cornea, tissue. Transplantation gives hope to thousands of people with organ failure. 84 lives are saved per day from organ transplants.
I'm not the only one who has been through the transplant process. Meet some of my friends who have a transplant story of their own to tell.
I'm Allison Herr. I had a liver transplant at 2.5.
I'm Jennifer Herr, and I'm Allison's mother, and she is the fortunate recipient of a liver transplant. 10 years ago in January we celebrated. She was born with a disease called biliary atresia, and she got to be a very, very sick little baby. We didn't know initially. It took about 17 days to get a diagnosis, and we were on the transplant list for 1 year and 9 months before we got our life-saving call. During that year and 9 months, it was an emotional roller coaster. We didn't think she was going to survive. You think of your donor family. You know on the other end that while we are experiencing mixed emotions, we're happy. Somebody is saying goodbye to their loved one forever, and they will never physically see them again. The positive outcome of organ donation is that spiritually, they are here. They are here with their organ recipients, and their organ recipients can go on in life through them, through the gift they have given. And this is our third transplant games. And it's amazing because, not only Allison, all these athletes that are here today because of organ donation. And they would have never made it. To see Allison lead in the life she is because of our anonymous organ donor, it gives you hope and strength, and in numbers too, to be able to educate the people that, in your most tragic time of life, if you could look beyond the tunnel and see a little light of hope, that your loved one could go on forever and will always be remembered forever and will never fade out because you have someone who is physically still here promoting your loved one, basically. They're living through them. Their life is through them.
My name is Wendy Wooden. I received a kidney in 2009. I got it when I was 5, and I am now 14. I am here to compete and to meet a whole bunch of new people who've also had transplants and who are donors, basically. In 2018, we went to the World Transplant Games in Malaga, Spain. I competed in the 100-meter dash for track and field. I broke the 100-meter dash World Transplant Games record. I've gotten a lot of inspiration from a lot of people here, especially from my team.
My name is Heather Talbot.
And I'm Terry Talbot.
And our son was Jonathan Talbot, and 7 years ago he was in a car crash. He was the passenger, and he sustained a terrible head injury, and he was considered brain dead. The driver was speeding. They figured triple the speed limit, crashed into a hydro pole.
Through a hydro pole.
Through a hydro pole, broke it in 3 pieces. Jonathan took the whole brunt to his head. And anyway, so it was just horrible. Your worst nightmare. The police come to the door and they say, come fast to the hospital. You might not see your son alive. It was, every parent's worst nightmare. After he was on life support for 2 days, we could see he was not getting any better. And the doctors had told us, we can't fix this. His brain is swelling. And it made us realize, yes, it's not getting fixed, it's just getting worse. They warned us that at 6 in the morning they would take the ventilator out and that he would stop breathing and that they would have to wait for his heart to stop. And they asked us if he had signed his donor card. And I didn't know, but our daughter Emily said, oh yes, he did, he signed his card.
When they approached us, they took us into a little room and approached us about organ donation. And we hadn't really thought about it. And she brought out the green ribbon. And I had no idea that the green ribbon represented organ donation. And then they said there were some people outside who'd like to come in to see Jonathan. And we walked to the door, and the foyer was full of all his friends. It was amazing. And so we were ready to let them come in. And then whoa, hold it, just stop right there. Do you know what this means? And I held up the green ribbon. And they didn't know what the green ribbon. I said about organ donation. So all of those young people that went in, who were aware that Jonathan was going to give his organs, and I know it affected all of them after, and they're all willing to be.
Now they've all registered
they're all
organ donors.
Be organ donors if God forbid anything happens.
Yeah, they tell us all the time now, I'm registered and my family's registered, so it's really spread the word because of him. And so for us, it's like something good came out of something bad. People's lives were saved, and in a way, our lives were saved too, because this has given us a new purpose in our life.
Yeah, Heather gives talks. She does bereavement counseling and
to other
talks.
Parents who lost their children, and
she gives talks about organ donation.
I've given speech
Sure.
is for Trillium Gift of Life. This is their little ribbon. And they've asked me to speak especially to Jewish groups because other Jewish people think it's not allowed. And to me, like, all we're here for is on this planet, on this earth, is to help each other.
That's right.
And this is one way that everyone can help.
I received a kidney 4 years ago. Once I received the kidney, I really tried not to stop doing the things that I had been doing beforehand. Life just continued on. Like, I tried to live my life beforehand as if I wasn't sick, so it just made life afterwards that much better. I'm a motorcycle mechanic that travels to the professional races. The team, they love the fact that I've never let it stop me from doing the best I can. They all kind of think I'm kind of like a gnarly dude, but I'm like, I'm just not going to let it slow me down. There's no reason to let it slow me down. It's amazing having a second chance at life.
Organ and tissue transplantation offers patients a new chance at healthy, active lives with their family and friends. Each year, hundreds of thousands of Americans are impacted by organ and tissue donation. Unfortunately, the need for donors is much greater than the number of people who actually donate. You can help by registering as an organ donor. More importantly, it is best to let your family know about your decision. We need your help to make a second chance at life possible for those men, women, and children on the transplant waiting list. If you want to help spread awareness of organ donation with your friends, peers, and community, partner with us to host a Donor Dude event or game. We'll send you information and giveaways to produce a fun booth, sporting event, or fundraiser.